about. Apple's Vision Pro.
This is the Apple Vision Pro.
This is the Apple Vision Pro.
The Apple Vision Pro. This is no doubt a groundbreaking piece of technology and an area in which Apple is going to excel in moving into the future, ushering in a new era of technology. It allows you to take certain aspects of your phone and your computer and place them into the world in front of you, creating a more immersive digital space where you can completely focus in on what you're trying to get done. Although I'm not here to talk about the positive aspects of the Apple Vision Pro. You can find that all around YouTube. I'm here to shine some light on the potential issues with the Apple Vision Pro and raise some concerns about how it might affect our mental health, our memory, our motivation, our meaning in life. Some of these problems that will emerge haven't even been thought of yet. And as I go through, I'm going to be going deeper and deeper into the levels of darkness that this new technology may hold. So what is it like to actually use the Apple Vision Pro? As of right now, the device has some cameras on the outside that show you a live view of the world around you. And you're able to pin some applications or videos into 3D space around you. However, as Casey Neistat showed, after several hours of using the device, you begin to accept this virtual space as your new reality, and you become completely immersed in it, disassociating it from the real world around you. You can almost completely cover your field of view with media and apps. Although for right now, if somebody tries to enter your space or somebody wants to talk to you, the Apple Vision Pro will fade all of your windows and show you who's there and let you hear what they're saying. Although, is there going to be a do not disturb mode? Imagine trying to have a conversation with somebody or trying to ask a question of somebody wearing the Apple Vision Pro and getting absolutely no response from them. In time, the Apple Vision Pro could start to introduce virtual objects into your space or augment the things around you, digitize them. And if this happens, will you be able to tell what's real and what's virtual? And what if it does this for people? What if it shows you their 3D avatar version? It'll disconnect you from the personal connection of reading people's facial expressions, the intimate connection of seeing somebody's face. It could even change the way you perceive people's emotions, either by directly altering the facial expressions that they're showing, or just by making it so you can't really tell what they're feeling or what they're trying to communicate through their face. The problem with all of this is the media that you watch, the applications you use, will eventually change your beliefs and change the way you see the world, and ultimately will change who you become. And with this new, more immersive technology, the risk is that it'll be able to change your thoughts and beliefs even more than a smartphone can. Ultimately, you gotta ask yourself, would I rather look at the world through cameras and computer screens with videos and work and distractions plastered all over my field of view? Or would I rather look at the world through my own eyes and have distractions and work safely at an arm's distance, ready for me anytime I want on my cell phone or on my laptop? Now, I hope to resolve this question quite nicely by the end of this video. So stick around, even if it does get a little bit gloomy, and I'll bring things back up. Speaking of virtual avatars, the device has some cameras on the front, as I said. It has some depth cameras or LiDAR cameras that you can use to take the device and turn it around and scan your face and your body. And it'll create a 3D avatar of you, which it'll use in FaceTime and virtual reality worlds, further dissociating you from reality and bringing you deeper into this new digital world. There's been a study that I'll link below talking about 3D avatars in virtual worlds, and it talks about the way that you perceive yourself in a virtual world. The character that you're portrayed playing can affect how you act in the real world outside of you afterwards. Say, if you're portrayed as a hero, you're more likely to do good deeds and to help people and to be kind. But if you're portrayed as a villain, you're more likely to do some not so good things or just change your perception about yourself. And if you have a virtual avatar made of you and you're now living in a 3D virtual world, there's a risk that you could be manipulated by the media that you consume, and eventually you could potentially forget who you even are, who your real person actually is, like stuck in the world of an actor. And with these new 3D avatars and this voice data, the 3D scans of your face, if these get into the wrong hands, then this data could be used to make even more accurate deep fakes in which AI is able to use images and video of a person and their voice to have them say and do things that they're not actually doing, to make a digital representation of them. Now, what does this all mean in terms of data harvesting and advertising? Well, wearing the Apple Vision Pro, Apple will be able to track your eye movements and see what you're engaging with on the screen. Now, Apple can use this data to refine its products and make them more addicting and more immersive, but advertisers can use this data to track your response to ads, gauge your interests, and learn more about what you like and don't like to make their advertisings even more precise to your interests. And my concern is, will you have any control over the advertisements that you see? How many of them you see? Or will you be able to turn any of them off? Use ad block? Or will you just be completely pestered by random advertisements on top of the world around you in the content you're seeing with no way to escape? With the Apple Watch, it already has sensors that collect biometric data, giving Apple and advertisers a biological reading to your response as to what you're seeing. Many people will also use the health services of Apple to have medication reminders and different health reminders. And this data can be sold to pharmaceutical companies to tell them about your mental health and other aspects of your health, so they can deliver you more targeted advertisements for different drugs, as well as with accelerometers and things like that. They can tell where you are and how you're getting there, such as if you're walking, or if you're biking, or if you're driving or in the subway, potentially giving this information to governments in the future. So the Apple Vision Pro creates the perfect environment to understand exactly who you are and how you think, and to sell this data to data farms. Now, how does technology affect our brains? Studies have already started to show that cell phone use and social media has been shrinking our brains, specifically our gray matter, which takes care of our memory, our movement, and our emotions. Basically, what's happening is technology and the internet are replacing our need to remember things, or to think for ourselves, or even get up and move around as much. Not only that, but the use of technology has been reducing our quality of sleep. With so much stimulation right before bed and the blue light emitted from our screens, it tricks us into thinking that it's still daylight outside and fills our mind with so much stuff that it's still racing when it comes time to go to bed. And of course, a reduced quality of sleep also has its toll on our mental faculties. Also, with so much stimulation, it kind of prevents us from being bored. And boredom is a really good catalyst for creativity and imagination, and inspiring us to do things, to create things, to write things, which also helps us develop our thinking skills and exercise our brains as well. If you'd like to learn more about how technology affects our brains and our thinking, I've left some links to some of the resources that I've been researching down below in the description. Okay, let's talk about smartphone addiction. But first, if you would like to help support this channel, help me make better content with better equipment, then I have some resources in the description below. I'd like to start off by saying that I'm no better than anyone else. I can admit that I too am addicted to my smartphone and spend way more screen on time than is really beneficial for my life. The Vision Pro is expertly engineered to be as addictive as possible, creating your perfect world using your interests and beliefs recorded from the device itself. It will start off by enhancing your world, maybe adding a splash of color there, some CGI there, to make you become addicted, and then it can straight up replace your world through animation and CGI entirely. Due to the real-time immersive nature of the Vision Pro, it'll feel as if you are entering a newer, better world, effectively replacing the need for you to want to try and improve your life in the external world, or try and improve anything in the external world. It'll make the real world seem dull and dreary and even more depressing as a comparison. Have you been feeling more lonely in life recently? People use technology as a means to escape the feeling of loneliness or to escape depression. But in reality, the use of technology is actually creating some of these issues. Technology is actually reducing our social skills or the desire to connect with people in the real world in the first place. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I also suffer from this emerging loneliness epidemic, not helped by the fact that my social skills aren't very sharp and I am more of an introvert. But I'm going to see if I can try and help you out through this. After you use your phone and you're scrolling through social media for an hour, getting little bursts of dopamine along the way, it leaves very little dopamine left for when it comes to time to present yourself in the real world, making it less exciting to talk to other people and potentially putting you in a lower mood when it comes to interact with other people. So a good rule of thumb would be not to use your phone before any social interactions, such as parties or meetings or get-togethers, and then you'll be fresh and bright for the people around you. Have you ever been in a public place such as a bus and you see everybody looking at their phones? It's not a very inviting situation to want to start to talk with somebody. And somebody wearing a headset will amplify this even further. My solution to this is, if you do catch somebody's eye, go up and talk to them. Ask them some questions such as where they're from. You might not get the most positive response, and that's okay because we're all in this together. Just practice being friendly and interested in other people. And even if you don't see it right away, you might have a positive effect on that person, and it may ripple into their lives later on with the people that they meet. Even if you feel connected with the people you're interacting with inside the Apple Vision Pro, in reality, you're actually going to be even further disconnected and more isolated than ever before. So with that being said, I suggest that you go and invite somebody you know or somebody you meet out for a coffee and just hang out. Even if you don't have a lot to say, just spend some time in direct proximity with the people around you. Apple is about to close the window to our soul. When you wear the device, we lose one of the most important aspects of human connection, our eyes. So much of our nonverbal communication occurs through our eyes, and wearing the device, it's going to effectively conceal your eyes from the outside world. Now, there are cameras inside the Vision Pro that will display a live digital version of your eyes on the outside of the device on a couple of screens, but that's not nearly as authentic. When I look into someone's eyes, I can personally feel a deep, intimate connection with them. I can sense how they're feeling. I can trust them. And without that connection of looking into someone's eyes, with them being covered, the eye gaze will essentially become meaningless. You may even lose the ability to fall in love with somebody because you won't be able to see or sense who they are and what they feel about you. And with two people wearing the device, the disconnect becomes even greater. You're both seeing a digital representation of each other, as well as the factor that what the device shows you may not be a genuine representation of what's really happening. For example, with smartphones, they have beauty filters and enhanced contrast and high dynamic range. And there's even the ability for people to potentially select to use digital avatars to represent themselves, creating an even further disconnect from facial expressions and the connection to one another's eyes. At the end of the day, I suggest that you don't even try the Apple Vision Pro, and instead focus your energy towards improving your own life and rebuilding your attention span. You could do things such as reading a book or go for a walk out into nature without your smartphone and recultivate your sense of wonder. Because as we've already discussed, the Vision Pro is going to be designed to be addictive as possible and going to try and replace your existing life by making the digital world, the Matrix, seem better. Don't get tricked by that and realize just how beautiful your life really is. Remember, wonder is the way back home. Instead of going into virtual reality, why don't you do something to make your world and the world around you a better place? And instead of going and using artificial intelligence, replacing the need for your own intelligence, you can always do a little bit of extra work and use a little bit of extra creativity to get to the same or even better result. Now, if you made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching. This hasn't really been an easy video to watch. It has been a little bit gloomy, but if you got some value from it, and if I offered some solutions, please leave a like and share this video. And if you want to hear more from me, please subscribe, and I'll do my best to create more and better content as I go on. Again, thanks for watching. Namaste.